in the Old Testament time, people pray and fasted in the Old Testament times, and things happened. When they prayed, they sought the face of God. They poured their hearts on God in belief, and situations never remain the same. The natural gave way to the supernatural. So that is what happens when you fast and pray. And right from the beginning, as I will be speaking here, I want you to know there is nothing like just fasting. Want to say, I am fasting, but not praying. There is nothing like that. The two must go together. When you are fasting, you must pray. So the two goes together. The two go together for effect. If you want your fasting to be effective, you pray and fast, or you fast and pray. So the two have to go together. What makes one fast and pray? You know, fasting, during the period of fasting, you deny yourself food and water. You say, I'm not going to eat or drink. I'm going to abstain myself from eating and drinking. Very popular story of prayer and fasting happened in the Old Testament time, in the time of Esther in Persia. You remember, in Susa, there was a grand plan in order to destroy the Jews. Because what Haman, one of the top officials, expected from Mordecai to do as a Jew, he couldn't do. To pay homage to him is a long story. I will not go into that in detail. So Haman was not happy because of the attitude of Mordecai. And there was a plan for the Jews to be eliminated or to be destroyed in the entire land. And then Esther had to make a call. She made a call to the Jews for fasting and praying 3 days. I believe we know the story. But now what I just want us to discuss is what happened in the New Testament time. I want you to just to know that it happened in the Old Testament time. People fasted and things happened. And when Jesus Christ came in the New Testament time, in the dispensation of grace, fasting and praying also was introduced. Jesus told the disciples the importance of it. When they wanted to do something supernatural and they couldn't do it. So there was a need for a solution. And then the only way out, the disciples were somehow disappointed. They were depressed. They were full of anxiety. Why we couldn't do this? It was a healing exercise, which they couldn't do. They saw their masters did. The show of faith happened so many times, but now they couldn't do it. Let's just see the reply of Jesus Christ in Mark chapter 9, verse 29. Mark chapter 9, verse 29. There are several verses we will touch. Mark chapter 9. You find Mark immediately after Matthew. So Mark chapter 9. Are you there? Let's read from verse 25, all of us. Let's read together. When Jesus saw that a crowd was running to the scene, he rebuked the evil spirit. You deaf, mute spirit, he said, I command you, go out of him and never enter him again. The spirit shrieked, convulsed him violently, and came out. The boy looked so much like a corpse that many said, he is dead. But Jesus took him by the hand and lifted him to his feet, and he stood up. After Jesus had gone indoors, his disciples asked him privately, why couldn't we drive it out? He replied, this kind can come out only by prayer. Only by prayer. There are other Gospels, prayer and fasting. And then let's go again to Acts chapter 13, verse 3. Acts chapter 13, verse 3. Acts of the Apostles, chapter 13. There also the church wanted to accomplish something, and they had to pray. For more emphasis, we can begin also from verse 1 to 3. Let's go together. In the church at Antioch, there were prophets and teachers, Barnabas, Simon called Niger, Lucius of Cyrene, Manan, who had been brought up with Herod the Tetrarch, and Saul. While they were worshiping the Lord and fasting, the Holy Spirit said, set apart for me Barnabas and Saul, for the work to which I have called them. So here we see also fasting is mentioned. And then the last text I would like us to read when Jesus was instructing them about praying and fasting is Matthew chapter 6, let's go to Matthew chapter 6. Matthew chapter 6. Matthew chapter 6. We read from verse 16 to 18. Verse 16. Are you there? We can read together Matthew chapter 6, verses 16 to 18. If found, we read together. When you fast, do not look somber as the hypocrites do, for they disfigure their faces to show men they are fasting. I tell you the truth, they have received their reward in full. But when you fast, put oil on your head and wash your face, so that it will not be obvious to men that you are fasting, but only to your Father who is unseen, and your Father who sees what is done in secret will reward you. Hallelujah. So this was also the teaching Jesus was giving them concerning fasting and prayer. So fasting and prayer is biblical. It's a biblical teaching. It's not something just come or created by the church. So when you fast and pray, you are doing what the Bible teaches. And you are doing what the children of God practiced in the past. And they are practiced today. So, fasting and prayer is very good. What is fasting? Some people think when somebody fasts, deny himself food and water for a period of time. They say You want to arouse God's sympathy. You want to show yourself somebody to be pitied. Oh, somebody who is suffering. And then God will be merciful to you and then listen to you. I think that definition has a problem. That definition has a problem. When you fast, you deny yourself food, you deny yourself water. Is just saying you want to focus on your God. You want to draw closer to God. You want to seek God's presence. You want to have communion with God. It's a special communion. It's a special time of being with God. It's a very special time. It's not just to arouse his sympathy. It's not just to attract his attention and then to show mercy to you. You want to be close with God. You want God's presence. And why do people do that? The reason believers do that is to seek God's will for certain things. Certain things they know they cannot do. Certain things they know defy their solution. And they believe and have trust in God that God can do it. They have every assurance that God can do it. And then they go to him in such a way, they take that move. Let's say the believers have a stubborn problem. A stubborn problem needs fasting and prayer. A problem that maybe refuses to go. A problem maybe a problem that surely believers know they cannot handle it. God must intervene in this case. I cannot do it. The case of Esther in the Old Testament, very popular story we know. They knew that the Jews were facing danger. It was a deadly threat they were facing. The whole race will be exterminated, will be destroyed. And then if not God, who will save us from the decree of passion? Who will deliver us? And then the need for approaching the throne of God came. Because Esther was like hesitating how to approach the king. And then Mordecai said, if you do not do it with urgency for our safety, for our security, for our lives here in this land, God may bring the answer from somewhere, and then you will perish. And then Esther had to call for fasting and prayer for 3 days. You know what happened? The deliverance came. It was a serious need. It was a serious, obvious need. And God intervened in that situation. And we Christians also, many times we experience situations that definitely we know we cannot do anything about. And then we seek for God's grace. We seek for his intervention. We say, Lord, intervene. Sometimes a whole nation may call for prayer. We have individual fasting and also collective fasting. You can fast and pray individually, as an individual. A whole church may declare certain period of time for fasting, for God to do something at a specific time. We go close to God. We seek his presence. We seek his intervention. And then cry together. We agree together, because Jesus said when two people come together and agree upon a thing, the matter has been established. So you can see the force of people coming together in agreement. There is nothing they determine to do that they cannot do. When they agree, when there is unity, they say, here, this is the direction we are taking. and definitely they will go that way. So, that is what happens when believers declare a certain period of time to wait upon the Lord because they want God to do something for them at that particular time. So healing or invoked supernatural power was what the disciples couldn't think that far. And they wanted to cast the evil spirit from a boy who was possessed by the evil spirits. And now they wanted to do it, they took it maybe casually. They didn't know what that involves so much. And they tried to do it, but they couldn't do it. And then Jesus had to explain to them things like this, serious matters like this. You know, to cast out evil spirit from a possessed person is a very dangerous adventure. You have to be close with God. You have to be sure of yourself. And then you trust God because it is He who will do it and not you. You may only be used as a vessel, as an instrument to do that work and not you yourself. So you have to rely on Him for the power to do the supernatural because you can't do that in the natural. So He taught them this can only be done by praying and fasting, which they couldn't do. And then when there is need for revival, sometimes the church will declare certain period of time. We need a revival. There is a need for revival. And then the church will take care of that period of time to pray for that, so that revival will come. Revival will come from whichever angle God has decided it to come, because real revival comes from God. Then what happened is this. Jesus was telling the disciples how they will do it. They should do it with humility. They should do it with humility. When you want to fast, He said the hypocrites, they do their own openly to show to people that, oh, these are the people who are close. They are very close to God. See how this man, see how his mouth is dry, white. He is waiting upon the Lord. A very religious man. And then they receive praise. The Pharisees will walk on the street, and then you will see how they walk, because they are fasting, and they want everybody to see them there. They want to show off. Jesus said, no. When you are fasting, don't leave your mouth to dry, white, and to show people that you are in a spiritual flight. You are something special more than any other person. No. He said, you do that, you will receive your reward. Yes, they will applaud you. They say, wow, religious man. He's really a man of God, a godly man. But you do it appear as normal. Put cream. Don't show in any way. You are doing this between you and your God. So it becomes a secret. You don't show it to people. You don't tell people. So when you do that, you are doing that between you and God. But the one which has been declared is no longer secret. If we say tomorrow we are fasting, it's no longer secret between us. We can say it. Tomorrow we are fasting. All of us were fasting. We want to agree upon this, and it shall come to pass. Then we know that one is a different case. But individual one, you do it secretly. You don't announce it. So you do that with humility. We have our friends, how do I call them? The Muslims. They are very good to do their own openly. They do their own openly, they show it. The whole world knows that they are fasting. They will tell the whole world. And within that period of time, you see their mood change. And say, this is the time we have to go close to God. But we don't do it in that way. It has to be secret, because Jesus Christ told the disciples to do it that way secretly. And then, for how long do we do it? How do we do it? You deny yourself food, anything that will give you pleasure. You say, this period of time, we have dry fasting. So fasting depends on your constitution, your body. And you do it based on your strength. You don't kill yourself in the name of fasting. Though God is there to protect you. But we don't just do it anyhow. You know yourself, I know myself. Some others will wake up in the morning, the only thing they do is just brush. You brush and then you pray and fast till evening. It depends on the time you set for yourself. Maybe 6 dinner time, or you say, oh, I will take it 7 late dinner. It depends on you and your strength. You wait upon the Lord. That period of time, you are in the mood of prayer. You are in the mood of prayer. Your heart, you are meditating. Even if you are working, even if you are doing something, you are thinking of God. Your mind is preoccupied. Your heart is preoccupied with the thought of God. You are just thinking of God. Your focus is in God. Maybe a special period of time in the morning you pray, in the afternoon. Then you bend down again and call unto the name of God. And then in the evening, you break your fast. Some say, oh, I can do it from morning time to evening to afternoon. I can withdraw or abstain from food from morning time to afternoon. Then I break. Some do it that way. Some say, okay, I will do this for this number of days. Maybe 3 days, 5 days. Some say they fast up to 40 days. 40 days. You say, I'm waiting upon the Lord for 40 days. Some tried it, they succeeded, and I will not take any solid food. Some do it and it shows on them. Their weight is gone. They are fasting. Some will do it and then you see them, you saw them a few days ago and then he has changed. Then you say, oh, sorry, are you okay? Are you okay? But he is fasting, but he says, I'm okay. I'm okay. Maybe he doesn't want to reveal it. He says, I'm okay. I'm okay. No problem. He is fasting. He is fasting. And that is how God said, test me and see. This is how we approach God. Christians approach God. To expect an extraordinary to happen. To expect a closer relationship with God. And it depends on individual. And it's a very good practice. The moment you start it, the moment you begin to do it, you will find it difficult to stop. You will find it difficult to stop. Yes. Just believe. Just believe. You will find it difficult to stop. Because it comes with the result. When you do something and it comes with the result, do you stop? You know, you don't stop. You don't stop. You can do that for yourself. You can do that for others. You do that for yourself, you do that for others. You do that even for others. Just maybe some people you are approaching them, you want them to come to the saving knowledge of our Lord Jesus Christ. Or your parent or your brother, whom you have a burning desire for him to turn his life over to God, but it has not happened. You try in so many ways to approach him with the gospel, but nothing seems to happen. You can wait upon the Lord. You can pray for brothers. You can pray for sisters and fast even for them, for God to reach them in one way or the other, for their salvation. So fasting and prayer can be done for so many reasons. And all these reasons are based on our inability to do certain things. And then we seek the one whom we know. He is the author of life. He is the one who is in charge, the sovereign God. If we cannot do this, we trust in him. We believe, when we have faith in God, that faith is based on trust. We trust God. That faith is based on trust. And we believe that he has the capability, the power to do that which we cannot do. And that is what calls for prayer. And we have a business. We have a venture. We want something that we want to achieve success. We can call unto God. Even the call right now concerning GSM is a big need for fasting and prayer. We don't know exactly what God does during GSM conference. It's a period of time all kinds of people gather. People gather from different nations. And it is our goal that the goal of the church is to go and preach the gospel everywhere, which Jesus said must be preached as a testimony to all nations before the end shall come. And now people have come to Korea. People from different nations have come to Korea. Even nations where they do not allow gospel activities at their borders. And then people from there come. And then some attend GSM just for curiosity. Let's go and see what these Christians, when they gather like that, what do they do? I'm just going there to see for myself what they do when they gather, many of them like that. And then just to go to satisfy their curiosity, and then something happened. One can meet Jesus Christ there. He has gone just to satisfy his curiosity. And then Jesus was saying, you, I have arrested you. That is how some people meet Jesus Christ. That is how some people encounter Jesus Christ. And they share testimonies. That I just attended a Christian meeting, and there I heard a message from a powerful man of God. And my eye was touched. I was convinced. There I decided to give my life to Jesus. A lot of things happen at GSM conference. And that is why when we cry, when we pray and fast, we are doing that for God to do something. We want God to take charge of that meeting. We want God to take control. We want God to bring everything that will take place in that place under his control. We want the resource persons or the facilitators, those we have invited to minister there, the preachers, the teachers, and whoever, the resource persons. Let God anoint them. Let them deliver that which God has given them with the power and anointing, so that his will be done in that meeting. When it happens, when great things happen, all of us are happy. Everybody will say, oh, praise the Lord, hallelujah. Thank God for this conference, thank God. That is the reason we pray and fast for the conference. Fasting and prayer is a very good thing. It's the believer's spiritual atomic bomb. It deals with the impossible. It deals with that which we stand helplessly and cannot do anything about. We invite God in because nothing defies his power. Nothing is greater than him. He is in control. He is in charge of all situations. And I will encourage us as individuals as well. Don't allow fears to toss you about. Don't allow anxiety, depression, problems to scatter your life. When you are anxious, when you are depressed, when you have problems, difficulties that come into your life that shake your faith, just think of setting time to fast and pray. Don't worry too much running here, telling people your need too much, but rather seek advice. If you go to the men of God, what they will tell you is pray. We'll pray together with you. They will still tell you, pray. We'll pray together with you. But if you will do yourself good, then you will say fear, worry, need, wait. And then you seek the face of God. Just say, today, some people, a day in a week, they set a day in a week for fasting. Praying, fasting, and praying. Say, I have fixed Tuesday in the week, or I have fixed Thursday in a week. Every week I seek God's face. I fast and pray every Thursday. Some people, they do like that. Some people have specific times when they withdraw from food, drinking, and anything, and then they seek God's face. And they record many things that happen when they fast. They have their records. Many things happen. They record a lot of things. And with this, when you live this kind of life, you will enjoy your life here on earth, because that draws you closer to God. That makes you, because all that man needs is God's presence. All that you need is God's presence. Nobody who is a Christian and is far away from God that enjoys his Christian journey. Nobody. When God is distant from you as a Christian, you can't withstand it. You cry, you worry, you become confused. You become to ask questions. What is wrong with my life? What is happening? I seem not to have joy. I seem not to have peace. What is the matter? But what we need is the presence of God. If God is with us, that is our riches. If God is with us, if his presence is with us, that is prosperity. Prosperity people talk about is not the issue of the material things of this world. It's not because of money. It's not because of this fame and whatever. But God's presence. When God is with us, we are very rich. When God is with us, we are very prosperous. And that is our prosperity. And if we do this, put him to test and see. When the Bible talks of God telling a person who was hopeless and depressed, Jeremiah, he said, call unto me, and I will answer you, and show you great and unsearchable things you do not know. And this is the way we call unto God. When we are in the midst of confusion, when we are disillusioned, when we are anxious, depressed, and worried because of circumstances around us, we just call unto the throne of God. We ask him, he will do it. Will you try that? Try in your life. Try. Praying and fasting is biblical. It's a biblical teaching and the best life for a Christian. How can you man to deal with an evil spirit if you do not pray and fast, if you do not seek for authority from God? That is your spiritual atomic bomb. You deal with the devil, the demons, and they surrender. And your life will be strengthened. And you will always like to do it. You will be thinking of doing it when we enter into serious situations. I believe Christians in countries where things are happening, crises are taking place, terrorism, that has become their daily life. And some will tell you that, do you know what? This country is still existing because of the prayer of few faithful believers. Yes, I agree. Some countries are still existing because of some faithful Christians who pray out their heart to God. And then I remember Sodom and Gomorrah. People like that were lacking. Abraham said, Lord, even if 50 righteous people are in this city, will you destroy the righteous with the wicked? God said, that will never happen. That can never happen. If there are 50 righteous people here, I can't destroy them with the wicked. What of 30? What of 20? What of 10? Lord, don't be angry. Let me ask one more time. What of 10 righteous people in this city? Will you still destroy the city? Then you say, if there are 10 righteous people, I can't destroy them with the wicked. If there are few people like that crying on behalf of that city, I can't destroy the city with them. Abraham said, oh, this is too much. And then he began to live. So, we can stand in the gap if we know the potential God has put in us. God has put in us a lot of potential. We can do exploit. We can do a lot of things through Jesus Christ, who is in us. And that is the way, let's maintain close relationship with Him. Let's deal with the issues of this life by seeking His intervention. And that intervention is through fasting and praying. That time you become so humble before God. You become so humble. Jesus made it clear. If you want to move mountains, just pray. If you want to move God, praise Him. His hands will move and an action will take place. Bring prayer and praise together and fasting together. A dynamite, right? Wow. A dynamite. Dangerous. Nothing will stand His way. I pray that God will help us and give us the strength and give us the understanding of certain practices that are biblical, that will improve our relationship with Him and draw us closer with Him, and we can deal with some challenges we're having right now, even before He comes. May God bless us in Jesus' name.